Assalamualaikum dear students. This is Aruj Muzaffar from the Department of English, University of Southern Punjab. Our subject is functional English and we have been going through previously about what are the communicative principles and how those principles can make our language and our communication more effective. We had been going through certain C's that are called 7 C's of communication, and we came to this idea that if we follow those 7 C's into our communication is going to get polished and our personality is going to get improved. And of course, if we follow those 7 points, it means that our English language, and not just English language, rather our native language, is going to get more emphasized and powerful. And into the second series of this lecture, we came across certain ethics and certain ethical perspectives that need to be followed when we go through in the process of making communication. We had gone through certain points that need to be considered to make our communication ethically more strong and make our message more impactful. Today's lecture is another series regarding that prospect of communication. Let's start our first lecture regarding it. As you know that we have been going through these principles of communication, and there are certain points that act as a barrier to our communication, and these barriers are those points that lead us towards those failures that we come across into our communication, into our daily life, or into our classes, or into our friends gathering as well. So today we are going to dive into effective communication in the course of functional English, which is your subject. I will walk you through it step by step, and we formally call this lecture as a lecture dedicated to the barriers of effective communication. Communication is only effective when the sender and the receiver understand the message in the same way, which means that the listener must understand that the sender is conveying this sense. However, there are certain barriers that can distort or block this process. These barriers can arise from personal, social, organizational, or environmental factors. First factor is physical barrier. These are environmental or structural issues that prevent people from communicating clearly. Examples are noise, like you try to have a conversation in a noisy factory where machines are running, obviously your message is not going to get successful. Distance, a remote employee missing out on an important office update because of poor internet. Like physical dividers, which are working in separate rooms without proper communication tools, can delay decision making. Now let's discuss how to overcome it. Reduce the noise in the environment. Use appropriate communication tools like video conferencing with a solid internet. Design open and collaborative workplaces when possible. Let's pause here and discuss it with the reference to the points that we have discussed. We do not share a common language or use language in ways that the other cannot easily understand. For example, a doctor using complex medical terms when speaking to a patient who does not understand them. A customer support agent speaking English to a customer who only understands Spanish. Using of slangs or acronyms that are unfamiliar to the listener, like let's touch the base later, and the listener does not know what is base actually. How to overcome it? You must use simple, clear, and culturally appropriate language. Avoid jargon unless the audience is familiar with it. Use visuals, gestures, and translation tools when necessary. There are certain psychological barriers as well. These barriers are those points that lead to the problems that are related to our mental and emotional states, that how can they affect and interpret a person or a listener to express his message appropriately. Examples are that a person with anxiety might misinterpret a neutral email as being harsh because he is going through a process which is anxiety. A student under stress might not absorb instructions from a teacher because he is facing stress and he is unable to understand what the teacher is actually conveying. Prejudice or bias, like dismissing someone's ideas because of their age or background. Let's discuss how can we overcome it. Be emotionally intelligent. Recognize how emotions affect communication. Create a safe and supportive environment. Encourage empathy and understanding. There are certain cultural barriers as well, in which people from different cultural backgrounds may have different communication styles, values, and expectations. Examples are that in some cultures, making direct eye contact is respectful, while in others, it may be seen as rude. Gestures like a thumbs up might be positive in one culture but offensive in another. These are those points which need to be considered while making a communication, and these are those things which we need to keep in our mind when we are going through the process of making a communication. Let's discuss it by breaking it into each concept. First and foremost, which needs to be considered is the concept of empathy. Let's discuss what empathy is actually about. Empathy is basically walking into someone else's shoes to know where it pinches, which means that we cannot understand the other person's situation until we are into his place. It means that if we want to understand the other person's feelings, we must experience that feeling to our own self. Basically, this idea is about giving a more humanized, civilized, and a cultured perspective to educational institutions. Sometimes empathy becomes a barrier to communication in a way that the person who is more sensitive towards understanding a core concept is unable to grasp the right meaning out of what the speaker is conveying. Basically, it is about the idea that sometimes a speaker is unable to make his communication successful solely because of this point, that he is unable to convey what he is actually feeling. In the same way, sometimes the listener listens to the message not in an accurate way, rather in a way which is in prejudice or in the light of his own bias. He does not understand the intended meaning, rather he understands the concept or the meaning which he has created in his own mind. This idea is basically about the point that leads towards failure of communication. There must be a correspondence between the speaker and the listener, and if there is no correspondence within those points, it means that the communication is going to be not successful. Obviously, the person who is conveying the idea is having something different into his mind, and the person who is listening to him is getting conveyed or is understanding the point which is in opposition to that idea which may he be conveying. It obviously necessarily does not apply to all situations, rather it means that this idea leads towards a failure to the intended meaning what the speaker was actually trying to convey, and the listener understood it into a way which was not intended by the speaker. Such failures are sometimes because of the barriers that are involved or that are having certain capacity or certain factors that are related to external environment, like we discussed previously, sometimes because of noise or sometimes because of the interruptions that we are facing, or there is a lot of crowd around us, or we do not have proper internet connectivity if we are using online communication, or sometimes there can be certain points which relate to a factor which is externally responsible. Sometimes there are internal factors as well which act as a barrier to communication. These internal factors may be fatigue, the person is maybe a bit tired, and that's why this is the reason that sometimes the timetable is scheduled in a way in which after a break and or in the afternoon lectures, the subjects that have been chosen to be lectured on are those lectures or are those subjects which are easy to understand, and the subjects which are it is considered difficult to understand are chosen to be taught or chosen to be valued in the first lectures, because in the first lecture it is expected that the student is fresh or he will have a better understanding of it into his first lecture. So, these points are sometimes valued by the external persons and sometimes by the internal person. If the person is having some stress or is having some misunderstanding regarding that person, or even there is an interesting point that if the person is having a prejudice regarding the first impression, it is also very difficult for the speaker to remove that first impression, because it is proverb that first impression is the last impression. It sometimes conveys the right sense, but sometimes there can be another impression which can be drawn or can be taken out of the communication of that person. Basically, we have to deal with those barriers sometimes with the help of external factors, and sometimes we have to help our own self to remove those barriers and to make our communication effective and strong. For example, if you are thirsty or if you are hungry, you are obviously not going to understand what the speaker is actually trying to convey you. The reason for it is that your focus will be more accurately pointed towards your hunger or your thirst instead of what the speaker is trying to convey to you. So, these points are those points which the person himself has to remove to understand and to make his communication effective and strong. Obviously, when the listener is ready to listen, he is not having any fatigue, he is free from stress, he is not under any prejudice, he is not hungry, thirsty or tired. He is going to have a better understanding of what is being conveyed to him. So, these are those points which he himself needs to improve, or he himself has to value these points. Only then his communication can be better, but there are certain factors which are externally responsible. So, he must focus on those points as well, like sometimes there is monotony in the tone of the speaker, sometimes the content is very complex and sometimes it can be boring as well. So, the listener has to engage himself very actively and very attentively to remove these barriers and to understand what is the core concept which the speaker is trying to convey to him. So, basically this lecture is about giving you an awareness regarding your communication, that your communication is only strong if you are giving a proper value to each and every aspect, each and every block of your communication. If you are giving an emphasis or focus onto one point and ignoring the other, your communication is obviously not going to get successful. You must keep it in your mind that your communication needs a balanced focus and a balanced interpretation and understanding. Only then you can be a successful listener and of course a speaker as well, because only if you are going to be a good listener, only then you can be a good speaker. So, the activity that I want to suggest to you at the end of this lecture is that you have to note certain points that either act internally or externally, but prove to be a barrier to your communication. You must keep or point out certain points that act as a barrier to your communication and to the communication that you are listening from your lectures, from your class fellows, from newspaper news articles or anything that you are visually seeing, that what are the barriers that lead to making communication successful. I hope this activity will make you recognize those points that are and that act as the barrier to your communication. With this note, I want to end up my lecture, that this lecture is going to be helpful in making your comprehension and understanding of communication in a better way. Thank you so much.